Hey there.
Hello. Hi there. Hello, and welcome to BPIAChats today. I'm the host, Alexandra Maloney, and I hope everyone is staying safe and lifted during this time. The purpose of this series is to share the experiences and insights of members throughout the international affairs community and hopefully to inspire the next generation to explore opportunities in the field. Also, the thoughts and views of our guest speakers are their own and do not reflect the views of BPIA, and we are currently streaming live, and this talk will be posted on our IGTV and our YouTube channel afterwards. So if you haven't already, please follow Black Professionals in International Affairs on our social media, as well as our guest speaker, whose handle can be found on the flyer of their page. So lastly, as people continue to chime in, we encourage folks to add comments and questions to the thread. And without further ado, I will introduce our speaker. So Mr. James Lomax Jr. is an Indiana native with a background in finance and technology. He is passionate about increasing STEM education in underrepresented communities and using technical skills to eradicate issues of inequality. So thank you so much, James, for joining us today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And just as a gentle reminder, so individuals usually just chime in throughout the talk, but because our membership is based, so global and around the world, usually people will revisit the video chat. So I'll probably do a little insert throughout the talk as folks come on. But if you could start off by telling us a little bit more about your journey and what got you to where you are.
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned, thank you again for having me. And I would say what led me up to this point is having an optimistic attitude and understanding that sometimes you have to look past eyesight in order to reach your goals. And, you allow simplicity to be your guide and you'll reach those goals. And so initially I began my career, I worked in finance, and it gave me the information I needed to know what's available on a global scale. Finance is definitely a global game. People like to think of it as one way sometimes. And I began to look for the next step that will allow me to pivot in a different direction. And I chose technology. I thought I might want to be a programmer, but my personality, I really focus on building relationships with others, and I like to find other ways to provide value for them. And, of course I could do that by building software of some sort, but I feel I best do it through conversation. So that's what led me into sales within technology.
Okay. And on that note, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do in the technological space?
Yes. So I work for an IT managed services provider. And essentially what we'll do is, so let's say you have a company, Alexandria, and you want to outsource some of that IT work. We'll handle that for you. We'll take care of the hardware. We'll keep the professionals that you need to stay up to date on the new trends in technology. And that's what allows your business to grow and function at scale. So in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Thank you for that. So what does a typical day look like for you pre-COVID?
Yes. Typical day, I have a list of prospects that I may reach out to. Sometimes I like to begin my day with a cup of coffee of some sort and just have a conversation via FaceTime, maybe with some of my colleagues, maybe with a potential prospect, but just something that allows me to break the ice and warm that person up as we begin to build our relationship. And from there, I'm reaching out to people all day. I'm emailing. We may have lunch. We may set up some time to socialize later in the evenings. Of course, that's pre-COVID though, so it looks a little different now. It's a lot more FaceTime.
Right. All into the virtual.
Right.
And I'm curious, so with this COVID situation, has this affected, and if so, how has it affected the work and the, industries that you're involved in?
Yeah, so some of the industries that we're involved in have been affected. So naturally that does affect us. But I believe that, we are in a position to be valuable in other ways. So what we've chosen to focus on, at least me personally, is, I'm reaching out to people. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to find a way I can help. And I'll start a conversation off that way. How can I help? Is there anything I can do right now to help you reach your goals? I need to promote anything for you. And I just make myself available that way.
Great, thank you. And I'm curious, so what sparked your interest in these areas?
in technology or
Mm-hmm.
finance, both. Yeah.
Well,
So what makes, I'll say finance, I was driven, it was probably more money driven at the time. And as
mm-hmm.
I've grown more in my professional career, I realized that you have to do things that matter to you, that make you happy, allow you to sleep well at night. The cool thing about technology is that it doesn't require any sort of, I say formal education, although it does help, don't get me wrong here. But with technology, the playing field is level. So it allows everyone to come in, and the resources are all over the internet. You take those resources and you skill up and you go from there. So it's all on you. And I like
Got
that.
it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Um, so my next question is, what are some of the current issues and trends in the field that folks should be aware of? So like specifically towards students who are kind of exploring these career fields, what are the trends in your area, or kind of like the priority areas that you
Mhm.
think that young people should be following and looking into?
Well, since I work for an IT managed services provider, I would definitely say people, if you have any idea of any sort of company you want to start, it doesn't have to be a tech company. You should probably understand a little bit about cloud storage. And that's just a term for a group of, remote servers in different locations. So a lot of people are familiar with using Amazon, to shop, get some of your retail goods. But Amazon also has Amazon Web Services, which is a large portion of their business. And it pretty much allows anyone with the idea and, maybe a plan to put that together and build your own software company. And a lot of companies right now, if you want to go, the Amazon route with IT or more of an entrepreneurial route through stores like Shopify, they're all offering like 90 to 120-day free trials. So it just gives
Mm,
you time to really learn and understand what's going on in the industry. But cloud storage is definitely the future, as well as 5G technology.
got it. What do you like most about the work that you do?
What I like most about the work that I do is it allows me to connect with professionals no matter where they are in the world. There's no such thing as a geographical boundary in technology, and I get to work with a group of diverse individuals from various backgrounds, various countries, and that opens up my mind as to what's available. And I
Mm,
think that helps to keep me fresh even during quarantine. And I hope that others are, able to take advantage of that sort of opportunity. But I'm a people
mhm.
person, so I like that.
And then I have to ask, so what would you say is the most challenging things about the work that you do?
Okay, most challenging. So in IT, you tend to have certain personalities that dominate the space.
Hmm.
Have you ever heard of a DISC assessment?
No.
Okay, so it's like this very general personality test to help you determine what some of your strengths and weaknesses are in communication. And
Mhm.
in the IT space, I work with people who are more introverted sometimes,
Okay.
and they're not as willing to just have those conversations without knowing a bit about you. They want specific details, but you have to
Mhm.
like learn to. You want to speak to people, but you don't want to offend people at the same time because of a communication misunderstanding. And so I would say that's probably one of the biggest challenges with my personality type. It may come off as aggressive sometimes, but it's just it's the world we
Aggressively
live
friendly.
in. So yeah, I mean it doesn't stop me, but it's just something to be aware of.
Okay, great. And I have two more questions to ask.
Mhm.
So the next one, if you could speak to your younger self, is there anything that you know now that you wish you would have known when you first started?
Oh man, I have a list. I would say to my younger self, um, wow, be confident in your value. Be confident in your value and don't take the first deal given to you. And
Mm,
if that's something that I would have known then, of course we always say, if I knew then what I know now, but definitely be confident in your value. Make sure that when you're pursuing your dreams and your goals, that you're thinking about others and how you may affect them. You can't be perfect, but I think that each day we should do the best we can to be the best version of ourselves. So that's something I wish I would have known back then.
mhm. I agree with you. I do because as I kind of reflect on my journey and my past, I realized I'm like, there were opportunities I probably could have pushed for even more or been even, a little
Right.
more aggressive on, I guess. But, having to confidence grows with time. That's been my experience. So thank you for sharing that. So this is my final question, and feel free to add any concluding thoughts that you may have to this.
Hmm.
But it's simply, what advice do you have for someone who is interested in going into, IT management, into this specific job path? So whether it's, taking certain classes in school or, certain resources, maybe national organizations to look at.
Hmm. Oh, so Indianapolis is actually a growing tech hub right now. So I guess compared to other cities, we're relatively smaller, but if we can do it here, it's definitely available elsewhere. I would tell any young person looking to get into the tech space to learn about the trends, determine if you're going to be more of a people person or you want to be on the technical side, maybe coding or building something out, and just follow your instinct. If that's what you're good at, stick to it. Don't try to be more than what you have to be. Skill up, continue to get those certifications to prove that you know what's going on. And even if you're in a sales role like I am, there's no excuse. Continue to learn about your industry, follow the trends, and that's how you bridge that gap.
Right. James, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today. How can people get in contact with you if they want to reach out or get in touch with you?
Yes, so I am a heavy LinkedIn user. I'm getting better with Instagram. It's kind of just for fun right now, but LinkedIn, like I am the king of reaching out on LinkedIn. I don't care if we don't have to have met anywhere. I want to talk to you, learn about you. That's just how I am. So hit me up on LinkedIn. Of course, you can message me on Instagram. I do have a Facebook profile, but I honestly don't remember the password for it. So LinkedIn is probably going to be your best bet.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone who has tuned into these talks. Please visit Black Professionals in International Affairs on our social media platforms for more information on upcoming speaking events. And thank you for joining today.
Thank
Everyone
you.
have a good day.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, thanks. Bye.